Welcome back to Talking Serpents. So today we got some exciting stuff going on. We're gonna be building a pond in the front of my house, and I thought it was a perfect opportunity to share how to build a properly functioning pond on a budget. You want a nice pond, but you don't want to break the bank and spend too much on necessary stuff. I'm gonna show you all of my tricks and tips so you can easily get that done. So I got a cool story as to why we're building this pond, because we weren't actually planning on building a pond. So here's the story. It's kind of odd. It was the summertime here in Texas. It was over 100 degrees for months on end, and no rainstorms for I think like 3 months. And we were raking leaves in the back of the property, and all of a sudden I raked up this teeny tiny little turtle, a red-eared slider. I thought it was dead. We put it in some water and we fed it, we revived it, and we have had it ever since, and it's thriving. So needless to say, we named that turtle Lucky, and that is who is getting this pond. One more detail about this turtle is that there are no turtle ponds in the area that are close by. The closest one I think is like 3/4 to a mile away. There's no bodies of water around where we're at. So the best guess I have is that a bird picked it up and flew it this way and happened to drop it in a leaf pile. That's all I got. What's your guess in the comments? Put it in the comment section below. So this is the pond liner we chose. We got this at Lowe's. It is in their garden section. I think we paid about $130 for it. It's a nice, durable, hard shape. And I thought it would be best to use this for the YouTube video because I wanted something that was simplistic and readily available, easy to use. But if you are wanting to make your own shape of the pond, you can get a pond liner from the Pond Boss and make whatever shape you want. And I think it's even half the price of this pond liner. So there are more options. I will leave a link in the description for the Pond Boss. For those that are wondering, this is about 6 foot by 4.5 feet by 18 inches deep. It is 125 gallons. And here is the product itself. Pause the video and zoom in. Whatever you need to do, it's right there. So during this pond build, my awesome wife is going to be helping us build it all out. She thought it would be a proper opportunity to bring out the baby red-eared slider, aka the one we're building this pond for. Put him in there. He looks like a little speck. Alright, let's get building. Most people don't need to know any of this information for putting in a pond, but we are going to be using landscape edging because we are going to take this opportunity to have a flower bed going in the front of our property. So we got our rope lined up, and we're going to be ripping out and transplanting all of this grass someplace else. We're going to be adding plants, rocks, mulch, and of course the pond. So time for some digging. Are you ready to flash into the future? Boom! Grass has been removed. Landscape edging is installed. We also decided to divert the drainage for our gutter that way. That one's almost finished. It's all ready for plants, mulch, and of course, the pond. So now we're gonna get to the fun part. I didn't want to share any of this stuff because I just didn't think it pertained to everybody. And you came here for pond, not landscaping. So we decided we're gonna put the waterfall right here. We're gonna use this little U shape for the water to cascade in with the waterfall. And if we're gonna be adding some seating right here in the future, possibly, we'll be able to see slightly on the waterfall. And if you're in the front of the house, and you can see the waterfall as well, because usually the waterfall is like the best part, is it not? Or is it the turtle, or is it? No, it's everything. Okay, well anyways, now it's time for the fun part. It's time to dig. You don't have to hire help, but we hired a little bit of help. This is my Siberian Husky, and he thought he'd do a better job. So he's just digging it up, and I'll shovel it out after he loosens the dirt. Almost got the pond liner shape perfect. We just needed it a little bit deeper, and he understands what to do. So I'm just letting him, he's doing his thing, take it away, you know? You're doing a great job. You're hired. Yeah. And just like that, my dog has completed digging out the area for the pond. He's popped the liner in there. I'm gonna give him so many belly rubs and biscuits for that. What a great job he did. But seriously, now I'm going to take the liner out and I'm going to show you some of the fine details that are important to get your liner in there properly. The pond liner is out. Here is the hole, which is not necessarily that important to show the hole, but I can tell you when you start, you're going to place the pond wherever you decide. And we already had a predetermined shape since this is a hard liner. And what I did is I used my trusty shovels over here to trace on the outside of the pond liner. And then I kept digging down, down, down until I got to the final depth of where I wanted it for our situation. Now I'm going to pop the liner back in there and I'm going to show you the fine details of leveling it, making sure there's no little voids or holes in here. It's going to have a lot of water weight in here. And then as far as the height, that's also a very important thing. I'll tell you why. Now that the liner is back in, we can get in there and talk about some easy but very important details. And we 2 days ago chose the height of the liner to the dirt, the soil, to be 2 inches. And it rained yesterday, 4 to 5 inches of rain. And so we decided we wanted to make the height from here to the soil all around the liner 3 inches. And what we're going to be doing is after we backfill all the dirt around the liner, we're going to be adding a nice gradual slope around the liner. And we have already added these holes 2 days ago. So they're a little here, a little there. I think they're very important. And we're going to have a little area where there's like a little bit of pebbles there so it doesn't erode the dirt. And any rain that comes down from the sky right into your pond, and you don't want it overfilling, so they'll come out these holes and gradually step out of the pond area. So they'll just flow out. And any, with that slope around the pond liner itself, all the water around will not flow into the pond. So that's why we chose 3 inches over the topsoil. Hope that's helpful. So the reason why I am putting a slope around the edge and I have these holes, well, we're obviously going to be putting a turtle in here, and if we're going to have 2 inches or so where the water is below this top edge, and then we're obviously going to have rocks so the turtle can't escape. But if the water level rises and it's not leaving, then you might have escaped turtle, and I guess this would be all good for nothing. So preventative measures now so we don't have problems later. So the next important thing, what I think is important anyways, is to level it. So I used a nice straight 2x4 and my level on top. Make sure it's nice and level here, and this way, and this way, and that way. Well, you know it's level. And then at the same time, use the 2x4 to determine your height. So you're going to see what the height of the liner is as you're moving it around, and that will make sure everything is very accurate. Now we have the pond liner all backfilled, so it's all firmly in the dirt, and then we also added a slope from the outer edge of the pond liner outward so water cannot come in this way, and it's also up higher than the surface around, like I've already shared. Now I'll reshare these holes so when the rain drops from the top, fills up the pond, that water can leave through these holes. And I put these holes 1.5 inches from the top, but the lower soil surface is at 3 inches from the top. I added a little bit of extra dirt and I sloped it that way. So I added rocks for drainage, so any water that's inside the pond that needs to leave, that comes a little too high, will leave through these holes, won't erode the dirt, and then I have them in 3 different spots for extra assurance. So now the next part, and I'm excited about this one, and that will be adding the rocks. I think it's called hardscaping. We've got all our nice looking rocks over here. Hopefully we got enough. If not, I know another place around here to get them for free. So now it's time to add the waterfall feature and put all the rocks on the outer edge, making it look even better. Time to reveal the rock placement. You ready? Boom! Looks so much better. I feel like we're getting somewhere. I didn't film the time lapse of putting all the rocks down. That would have been very tedious and difficult. So I skipped that, but I will give you all my tricks and tips to do it properly, or like I have done. So you might even want to do it differently. I don't know, but I'll tell you what I did. So I put the large rocks along the outside perimeter, and I just, if you ever played that game Tetris, where you have all the different shapes, we'll keep using the shapes to your advantage so that you have less gaps in between the rocks. And I wanted to cover the edge of the liner so you don't really see it. And then I went around again with medium-sized rocks and filled all the excess areas. And right there is actually my waterfall. I'm gonna take off all these rocks on top and I will show you what the spillway looks like. Now that the rocks have been removed from the spillway, I can show you what the spillway looks like. So right here is an 8-inch spillway, and we got this from the Pond Boss. And what we did is we put the spillway, we chose where we wanted it, which is gonna be right here, and we built a rock structure around it. And then after the rock structure was around the spillway, we went around from one side to the opposite side. Worked in one direction the entire time. It made things quite a bit easier. And of course then we put rocks on top. Now it's time to talk about the Pond Boss, because I have a massive shout out for them. Before we started building this pond, we wanted to figure out which manufacturer of pond parts we were gonna go with. I came across the Pond Boss because I like their quality. And I decided, hey, let's send them an email and see if they're into maybe sponsoring a YouTube video. Told them about the turtle and how we found that. I wanted to make a YouTube video and show people how to build a nice high quality pond, but yet on a budget, and they actually went for it. So massive shout out to the Pond Boss. They sponsored the spillway that you've already seen, the filter box, the tubing to hook it all together, and the pond pump. So thank you so much, the Pond Boss. I will be linking their website, which is thepondboss.net, in the link in the description. Now the time has come to get all the plants in the planter and fill out this nice pond. So, time to go to the nursery and see what we got. Wait, no, we've already done that. We've already been there. So, we went to a nursery, not Home Depot, not Lowe's, because we found way more knowledgeable people at the local nursery. So if you can do that, I would highly suggest it, because we happen to be one of those people that don't know very much about landscaping plants, and they had a high variety. So we learned some new things today, and we found more than what we needed. Can't be sitting here napping, we got stuff to share. All right, well, show goes on without you. All right, so we have placed all the plants we got. These are all landscaping plants. I will mention that if you are going to do this around your pond, we happen to live in North Texas, so we are using plants that work good in the area. So if you don't live in our area, these plants might not work for you, but I thought I'd share them just in case. Hopefully it's not windy. If it is, I apologize. I'll stand over here. All right, take it away, Stephanie.
All right, so over here we got blue sage, and then this one is a 4-nerve daisy. We got a bunch of mondo grass around the pond. Hopefully it'll like grow into the rocks a little. Another blue sage over there. Right here we've got lemon lime nandina.
As you can tell, we are not experts. So if you're not an expert with all this landscaping plants, just go to your local nursery. They'll help you out, because there's no need to be an expert in everything.
And then this is a blanket flower Mesa red.
Were you just reading that off of something?
I
can tell. It sounds like you're reading the brochure.
And then another lemon lime.
Everything is supposed to grow a lot larger. We wanted something short in front of the pond so it doesn't take up a bunch of viewing space as you're trying to see it. So yeah, that's what we've got. Before I move on and plant all these, I wanted to share one more thing about the rocks. I managed to get all of these rocks for free. So if you can manage to find an area where you have free rocks, I would highly suggest it, save you some money. But if not, you can obviously find an area local to you that you can get a bunch of rocks from. All the plants have been planted. Now it's time to put some mulch down. That should be pretty easy. Mulch is down, looking good. Each step forward makes this thing look even better. So we managed to get all of this mulch for free, and We just happen to have a lot of mulch on our property from a past project. And if you need mulch for free, I got a tip for you. Won't work for everybody, but it will work for most. So any landscaping company that trims trees, chops up trees, and they mulch them in the back of a truck, they take them to a facility, and there's big piles usually, and you can get mulch for free. Bring a truck, trailer, and you're just gonna have to look on the internet in your area and see if you can get some free mulch if you need it. Other than that, you can go to Home Depot, they got different colors. Time for the next satisfying step, and that is to get this water flowing and filtering. So I'm gonna go to the workbench and show you all the products to get all the water flowing. Honestly, we already read the instructions. Super easy, and they're almost unnecessary, but that's a good thing because easy is good. So let's go over to the workbench, show you what we got. So first things first, you take your screen and screw it onto the pump. This protects it from debris to go inside the pump. And then you have this water control valve, which is a great feature. Turn it more or less to have the control of how much water flow is coming from your pump. You could either put it on now or later, but I'm gonna put it on later because I'm actually gonna be putting this pump inside their universal filter box. So let's take that apart. And there are, got the coarse and the fine filtration right there, and you got the bio balls. So let's take it all out, and then we'll be putting the pump inside. So we have placed the pump inside the filter, and we have centered where the water control valve goes, and you'll see why later. There's also a power cord slot, which is fantastic. But anyways, let's jump forward. We're gonna put our bio balls in first. It comes with 10, but since we're putting the pump inside, we won't be using all of them. So, now we put our filter material in, get everything all centered. These have a hole in the center, of course. Now we'll be taking our water control valve, threading it on, and everything is threaded on very nicely, I might add. And don't over tighten it, just snug. And then this clips on just like that. It's ready to go, drop it in the water, hook up the tubing. So we needed to use 3/4 inch tubing for this pump, which is an 800 gallon per hour pump. You might need something different, but for our case, 3/4 inch tubing, and this is going to hook up our pump to our waterfall. Very easy to install, very easy to cut. So now let's go out there, drop this thing on the water, route our tubing, and get this thing flowing and filtering. Everything's all hooked up. Let me show you from the beginning. Super simple. So we got the spillway right here for the waterfall, and we have our tubing in here, which you could hardly see. I'm trying to hide it. We're gonna be putting more rocks in there. That hooks up to the spillway. Tubing and power cord go into the water. And let me pull it up and I'll show you what we got. So, I'm gonna take a couple rocks off because I have rocks securing down the tubing. I don't want everything moving around. And here is, of course, the filter box. The tubing threads to the control valve. Super simple, very secure. And then put my rock back here. Oh, before I put the other rock back on, I actually have zip ties about every foot for the power cord and the tubing to stay together. I want everything to be nice and tight. And I also am going to be putting something over the tubing and power cord in the future. I just don't know what I'm gonna do. Something decorative, because I personally don't want to see that. So, yeah, let's plug this thing in. The moment of truth. It's exciting. Hear all the nice noises. Get this thing plugged into our outlet. Sounds fantastic. Looks good too. Spillway works really nicely. Still gotta fill this thing up with more water. We're just about done. It's time for another update. Well, we now have a turtle dock. I actually custom made this out of black PVC. You got this ramp here with all the slits in it. That way the turtle can come up here, bask, get fully out of the water, all full rounded edges. And we actually brought the turtle in the pond a couple days ago to test it all out. Turtle loved it. And we also got a nice proper pond heater right there. You probably can't see it because it's also black. But everything's been working perfectly. And we added some rocks over here for my turtle to bask and get out of the water there. And there. And we had the turtle in the water for about 24 hours. It is currently mid-November here in Texas, and as of last night, it got down to 29 degrees outside, and I'm not fully ready to keep the turtle outside. I'm gonna try another overwintering technique with a pond and a cover over the top. But yeah, we're not fully ready, but we're getting there. We also received our thermometer today. It's black, so it blends in with the liner. That way we could tell the temperature of the water. And also, this is technically not a finished pond because I want to add a nice branch structure in here, and I want to add aquatic plants. Unfortunately, we couldn't find any aquatic plants in our area in North Texas, and we might have to order online. I'm not sure, I got to do some research. We're going to wait till spring anyways. And then, so technically, this pond isn't 100% complete, but that's okay because I love projects. And that just means if you want to see the end result of everything done, put a comment down below, and I'll come back showing the turtle, the new completed pond, in the springtime. Unfortunately, I've gotta wait, but that's okay. This pond has definitely exceeded my expectations on building, and I'm pretty happy about it. So for now, we're gonna call that complete until we come back in the springtime and just sprinkle in those little extra details. Maybe I'll make an extra YouTube video showing all those, introducing the turtle. Make sure to comment down below if you actually want that to happen. Also, I want to give another massive shout out to the Pond Boss and all their awesome products. They were super easy to use, very affordable. They have lots of different products on their website, thepondboss.net. I will leave a link in the description, of course. And on that note, if you liked the video, if this video helped you at all, strike that like button. If you have any comments, leave in the comment section below. Please do subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.